So now what? You've probably asked yourself that question 100 times because for decades you've been doing what you have to. And now you're wondering, have I actually done enough to do what I want to do? Would you like some help? That's why we're here, to take you from I have to wow, I really get to. I'm Brad Johansson with 𝗔𝗍 Wealth Private Capital, and this is Wise Money. Thanks so much for being with us on Wise Money. Brad Johansson with the President, CEO of 𝗔𝗍 Wealth Private Capital, Joe Wilson III. Always good to be back with you, buddy.
Always, my man.
I mean, we get to do it every day.
It's fun stuff.
On the set, we're able to share it a little bit with you. I want to talk about what we do every day, which is try to put together a complete plan. Everybody's trying to figure out how to retire the way that they want to retire. We want to kind of take you through what a complete plan looks like, because a lot of people will come into the office and say, man, do I have a chance of doing this? Because here's what I want to do now. And maybe you took a little bit too long to go, I probably need a plan together. Let's try and put a plan together for you today. So as we go through a complete plan, when we start and say holistic.
Yeah. Big word.
Define holistic for me when we're trying to put this together and say, you know what, there's a lot of pieces that we want to put in the puzzle.
Let's start with what it's not. And I think that's an important thing to understand. So many folks will come into us just being prolific savers. And there's 750, $1 million. We've seen $3 and $4 million of statements. And everyone, regardless of that number, it all comes down to this. When I retire, where do I start taking my income from? And do I have enough to last to and through retirement? So if we start there and go, well, first of all, just because there's a number on the statement, that's not a plan. That's what you've amassed. The fact of the matter is we have to sit down and go, what is your spending plan right now? What are the necessities that you need in life? What do you want to do? What is the vision? And what are your values in retirement? Let's just start there. That's start of being holistic.
Okay.
Then we go from there and we're looking, well, if we have the income, what accounts do we start accessing first? Folks, let me ask you right now, if you retire tomorrow, where do you go to get your first dollar? There are places you should start taking withdrawals from and other accounts you should hold on. We go over that. Looking at Social Security, using inflation, understanding taxes, understanding healthcare and longevity risk, my goodness, the cost of that. All of that has to come together, even with legacy planning. That is what holistic planning is. And we have to start where everyone wants to start is, can I retire? The question is there, will I have enough income to last me? Okay,
a lot of things that you hit, I want to hit again. And let's start with goal setting. You'll come in and say, I'd like to retire. All right. What does that look like? I don't know. And I will sit with people in the office and they will go, I didn't really think about that. Well, you're walking into the office going, can I do this? Can I do what? What do I want to do? Retire? Do you want to... What is it, your front porch sitting?
Oh, front porch sitting money.
If you want front porch sitting money, a lot of people want more than front porch sitting money. They may want to travel. A lot of people want to do that. They may want to do things with their grandkids. They may want to gift people. What are your goals? When we do goal setting, how important is it for people to come in with a plan of understanding of what the next, and it may be 30 years, looks like of what you're going to do? Well, better
be planning for 30 years. I mean, think about it. If you're 65, we've got to plan for longevity of being 90, 95 years old. That is 30 years. So there's a lot of challenges to that, right? Inflation. Think of this, Brad. It's 24% more expensive today than it was to live in 2000.
This still boggles my mind when we're talking about inflation.
So let's say you're 65, 66 in the year 2000 and you retired, right? The world shut down, the economy shut down. You said, you know what, this is my chance. I've saved enough money. I'm going to go out to retirement. There's a lot of folks in this viewing audience. How do we know? We see this every day from folks calling off the show. We call it the perspective. We're very blessed to see a lot of folks from the greater Cincinnati area. When they come in, we get to see kind of their questions and concerns and really worried about, man, it's more expensive to live today. If you have not taken a pay raise, let's say you retired 4 years ago, and it's 24% more expensive to live, that means you could be kind of running out of your budget money. October? What are you going to do for November, December? Extrapolate that out 10 years and 15 years. So you're 65. What is that going to be like at 80? If we're not figuring in those numbers right now, that's the concern, because one of our sayings here is just to help folks be and stay retirement ready. If you're not factoring inflation and the effect of taxes on your income planning, whoo, boy, that's a gamble and a half.
So the question comes, can I do this now? The answer is almost always yes, you can do it now. For how long?
That's right.
We're talking about doing this once. You want to retire once and you want it to last to the...
I mean, think about this. I remember back in the god-awful great financial crisis, there was a neighbor friend that had retired right before that started, right before. And I ran into him he was down the street, about 3 years after that had happened. I said, how are you doing? He's like, man, it crushed me. In fact, I went back to work as a consultant. That has stuck with me. You know, almost 20 years in this industry, that has stuck with me. What an impact that had. What would have happened if maybe all of that individual's money wasn't just subject to market volatility? What if he had created an income engine? What if he had planned for inflation? Would he have ever had to go back to work? That's the last thing any retiree, if you're watching the show, the last thing you want to do is go, man, I just retired. I hope this stuff gets figured out. Hope is not a plan. It's not a strategy. What I love is we have the tools and the ability to sit down and go, let's start here. Here's what we have to factor in. These are the termites that are going to eat away at your retirement. Taxes and inflation. How do we do gifting? How do we do trips? How are we going to do this 10, 15 years down? Let's plan for it. Because if we plan for it, we like to say all the time, if we're going on a destination, if I was going to hop in the car, you and I are going to hop in the car right now,
Yep.
we were to drive to San Diego, we know our destination, but we got to look at where we are now and how do we get on the highway and which is the best route to go. We have to do that with financial planning.
Because there's going to be detours along the way. We're talking about holistic planning. We're talking about coming together with a complete financial plan and what that entails. We're going to continue with that as well. But what you have to do, I say this all the time, there is no magic to this. There is work involved. And a lot of people will come into the office and say, can you fix this for me? Sure, we can try to fix this for me. But you have to take the first step. There's some homework that you have to do.
It's easy homework.
It's easy homework because we'll help you through it. But what we want you to do is make a phone call right now, 844-657-1072. What does that do? Gets you set up for a retirement readiness review, which is complimentary. To sit in our living room, to go over your goals, to talk about what your plans are, to create a map that will take you into and through retirement. Let's do it right now. Wise Money continues after this.
This is Wise Money in 60. My name is Cynthia DeFazio with Joe Wilson. Joe, mind the gap?
Mind the gap, 1960s over in London, England. The underground started. What they did is they painted this big yellow line in words all over, mind the gap. Why? People were leaving this firm foundation, stepping on a train and falling through the gap. Think about the modern retiree. Firm foundation of income, stepping on a retirement train, taking them to their destination, but many times there's an income gap. People are taking their Social Security, but they haven't done the proper planning of the necessities they need in life and what that's going to cost. It's why every modern retiree needs an income gap, because you have to mind the gap in retirement so you can be and stay retirement ready.
That's why you have to mind the gap. This is Wise Money in 60. Gentlemen, I'm thinking back to summer vacation. And for me, being a little girl growing up in Ohio, the biggest thing about summer vacation that I couldn't wait to do was go to the amusement park with my mom. I could not sleep the night before. It was like Christmas morning. Couldn't wait to get up because I knew it was time to go. And the minute that we pulled into the parking lot and walked into the gate, I went right for the roller coasters. The faster, the higher, the better. Awesome. Just love those memories.
I was the weenie. I didn't want the roller coaster. I'd ride on the little ones, you know, the racer at Kings Island or maybe the Beastie. Louis was the guy straight for the front of the line on the Beast.
Oh, every time. And the Beast was always my favorite. Get to the top of the hill, so excited. Go down and around, and then as soon as I got off the ride, full sprint to the back of the line. And then I had to be in the back car.
Wow.
And you know, the funny thing is I hadn't been to Kings Island in probably 15, 20 years, and I thought it'd be a good idea to go back. But as soon as I got whipped around like a rag doll, ooh, my back, like,
Now, see, the
Isn't that
ride
amazing?
didn't change, but the tolerance changes. And that's what we talk about in retirement. You can ride the beast for a long time until you can't ride the beast anymore. And your tolerance becomes, what's my capacity?
Yeah.
Louis lost his capacity. And it wasn't because of the ride, because we're continuing on the ride. Now we just have to understand what the capacity is within the change. So we'd love you to give us a call so that we can assess your tolerance and your capacity. That's what we want you to do. Give us a call so we can get in and chat with you, try and come up with that complete plan. That's what we're talking about today. 844-657-1072. If you've been waiting, you've been watching a long time, and we hear people in, I watched a long time. It took me a long time to call. Do it now.
You're a big deal, man. I mean, people in Cincinnati, they've seen you on the news. They want to watch you.
Well, I've been here for a long time. I'm a long time deal. That's the thing. I've been coming into your homes for a long time, and now we're doing something different that create a better narrative.
You like Cincinnati more than Chicago. Come on, admit it. Admit it. We've made you a Cincinnati.
This is home. This is home, baby. All right, we're completing this. I want to go through a full list, and I want to get to something that really relates to people, because a lot of you feel like, I'm alone in this. I'm the only one who's done this. And when you talk about it in the first segment, perspective, we've seen the perspective. Risk management and tax efficiency. We tell the story in a lot of workshops, and I hope you guys get a chance to come to some of our workshops, because it's an educational process, and we're educators first. Bill and Nancy, take me through Bill and Nancy if we're talking about risk management and tax efficiency in this.
Well, we see this example very often in our offices. Bill and Nancy came to us, actually off the television show. Their income need, their goal was to get about $8,000 a month.
Realistic.
Right? That is. We see that very often.
$8,000 is a little less than $100,000 a year.
And this is to cover the necessities that they have.
Okay.
This is to cover the travel. They want to take the kids to Disney. They every few years would like to go to Europe and do a trip. Plays golf. So that was a big part of their lifestyle expenses. That's what they needed. The issue is with Social Security, between the two of them, they're getting about $3,000 a month. So we talk about minding the gap. If they need $8,000 and they're bringing in $3,000, that's a $5,000 a month gap.
While you say that, I just want to make sure that people understand, because we're going to throw this out a lot. Minding the gap is understanding what you have for necessities, what you want to do, and where it meets in the middle so that you don't fall in between. We're creating an income engine so that minds the gap and takes you through to the end.
And it's so important because no one retired just to sit on the couch and, twiddle their thumbs all day.
Yeah.
So
Well,
watch the Reds.
Some people do, but I don't think that's what
Mama
you want.
Connie likes it. I see it all the time watching John Wayne.
Yeah.
So what we had to sit down with is, hey, that's $60,000 a year. Now, they had amassed about $1 million, and here's the challenge. The challenge is the old shoot from the hip John Wayne 4% rule. Why does that rule come into effect? We can argue another show, is that effective or not? Is that the right number? But think about all the good years in the market. And there's more good years than bad years. Very pro-market. We think over time
Market
that's where we
wins.
want to be. But for them, they were very constrained if bad years happened in the first part of their retirement, because a 4% withdrawal rule on $1 million is $40,000 a year. What was their need? 60. That's a pretty large gap, which means they would have to be taking out more money out of their savings. Now, you can do that first handful of years. Where it bites you at that heavy of a withdrawal rate is, number one, if the market plummets and drops, because now the assets are less and you're still taking out more. But number two, many people forget to factor in inflation. In fact, the perspective we get to see from a lot of folks coming in off this show is their plan only includes around a 2% inflation number. The actual number, the 50-year number from JP Morgan of inflation over the last 50 years is almost 4%. It's 3.8%. So now that gap, if you take that out 15 years and put a 3.8 inflation rate, that income gap grows to almost $8,800 a month.
$8,800.
Yes, versus the $5,000. You take that out 20 years, that's just shy of $11,000 a month. And that's where most folks tend to have the hidden landmines. And it's why the Retirement Readiness Review is so holistic and complete. We look at your current asset allocations. Where are you taking hidden risk that you probably shouldn't? We structure up a written income plan so you know exactly where you're going to get your income regardless if the market is up and down. We look at asset preservation. The last thing you want to do is just retire or get into retirement and see a mega drop. But let me add that to that. What happens in your later years if there is something of a healthcare need where you're going to have to spend almost $10,000 a month just to have medical care? Legacy planning involved in that. All of this is part of our retirement readiness review. And we can't forget the effect of taxes and a tax plan, because if you've saved all your money in qualified plans, it's not all your money. That's why we sit down and go, what do we need? Where's the gap? Now, how do we start putting this puzzle together and work it backwards beginning with the end in mind?
We got to take a break. Tell us what you want people to do right now.
You get one shot at retirement. We're talking about that. We're going to make this very easy for you. I want you to dial the number on the bottom of the screen, 844-657-1072. We have amazing team members standing by that can set up a time for you maybe to have a 15-minute Zoom call or phone call. Or maybe you just want to come in the office for your in-person meeting. Maybe even Brad Johansson will be there.
Guaranteed.
Absolutely. But to do that, I need you to take action. Today's the day that you don't have to just hope for retirement. You can take control of your retirement. Maybe take out your phone, go to that QR code. You can even set an appointment right there. We're going to do a short break. When we come back, we're going to dive into this a little bit more. You're watching Wise Money.
Gentlemen, I'm thinking back in the day, the family vacation. Everyone piled in the car. We were all excited. We had the luggage packed. The picnic basket was packed. The minute you got out of the driveway, where's the snacks, right? But one thing was missing. Dad used to stop, or Grandpa used to stop at the gas station and grab a map.
Oh, yes.
And that was
Dad
how.
for me.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that was Dad for me. And Dad's been gone now more than 25 years, but I can still remember back on the station wagon that we would all pile in. I'm the last of 6, so everybody would get together, and dog too, and you would go. He would map out where we were going into the next state, because
Yes.
he did not want to make a mistake. He wanted to make sure that we had a path. This is what we're trying to do for people with plans that say, I hope I have enough. Well, hope isn't a plan. So if we can help put together a map that takes them into and through retirement, we plan a retirement readiness review to make sure that your map is going to get you to your destination.
When we look at retirement planning, detours will always come up. I mean, it's 25 to 30 years of retirement income. The challenge that folks need to realize is that you need to know exactly how much money you need to bring in every single month so you could stay on that journey of destination. And you have to adjust it for inflation and taxes, storms,
Yes.
flat tires, things that come up that just aren't expected. But if you can plan for that, oh, it makes that journey so much easier.
And if you've got to change the tire and you've got to change the direction, sometimes you can't do it by yourself. And maybe you need an expert to try and take you to that path that you didn't anticipate before, because we can't always predict when the storms are going to come. Welcome back to Wise Money. Brad Johansson with Joe Wilson III as we talk about preparedness. And we've gotten into some of the ideas of what is a holistic, complete plan as we're going into it. We have aging parents, mine aging really gracefully at 95. My mom, though, is hanging in, and every month she will call me about how much more it costs her to stay where she is right now. When we talk about health care, we don't know what's in our future, but we know that the prices are rising. You've got people in your family that are dealing.
Uncle Harold, 96.
The numbers are now staggering.
They are. In fact, let me go through some of these. I'm going to read them. The average price right now in our area for assisted living, $4,500 a month. Home health care. Think of this. You know, many of you have worked your entire life. You want to be at home, right, at that age. Over $5,000 a month on the average health care aid a month to come in. A semi-private room in a nursing home.
Listen to this number.
Semi-private. And I can tell you right now, I am not working my retirement dreams if Lord help me, to have to share a room.
Sharing a room.
Just under $8,000 a month. In a private room right now in our area for a nursing home is over $9,000 a month. Here's the challenge. None of us know the future. But what if we could plan for it? You know, I say all the time, I am not a fan of long-term care insurance. How it originally
We
was
talk
done.
about that all the time.
I hate it. I despise it. Why? Yes, it hedges a very big risk, and this is a big risk. If there's cognitive history, this is a very big concern of yours if you're watching this right now. The problem with long-term care insurance, it's only effective if it's used. What I love is right now there are tools in our tool chest that when you come in, we can talk about this if this is a major issue for you that says, hey, What if this money can have dual purposes? It's there if you need it as income and you don't need that assisted living and you don't need that adult care. Or what if you do? Now we have told the money what to do. We've given it a job. We created income engine to last you during those go-go years and slow-go years. And we've also allocated money to set aside for the no-go years when maybe you have to use this type of thing in your later years of retirement. The power is we have the ability to help set that up and plan for that journey. That's why planning is so important. That's why it's holistic. That's what we do at Omega Private Capital. It is completely a complete plan.
Well, the idea is that when we talk about adjusting all the time, and we're going to have to figure out how to do it differently, products continue to come out. When you say, I hate this health insurance, there are now products that we're dealing with that will take you into a spot where you don't have to worry about that because you know that this is going to make it last for you. The understanding of adjustment, I love what you say. You always have to tell your money what to do. And if we put it in the right spot and we plan for that in a holistic, complete plan, that's part of what we're doing for the what if, because nobody knows what's going to happen.
Think about it. If we know you need income in retirement, right? That's the whole question. Can I retire? What you're really asking is, will I have enough money to last me through my 30+ years of retirement? So when we sit down with folks, we say, all right, here's what's going to create your income engine. Maybe we peel off some money and say, hey, this is a long-term care. We have it if we want to access that money, if we want to use that money for vacations, and we, Lord willing, we never need to use that medical side, but it's there. We've given it a job. That now allows the rest of your money to do what it's been doing the last 40 years. Put it in the market efficiently. Give it a job to grow. When you start allocating your money that way and you look 10, 15, 20 years out, holy smokes, that over my 20+ years of doing this is how people have successful retirements.
We got to take another quick break. 844-657-1072. All we're doing is asking you to call so that we can give you something for free, a retirement readiness review, because some of this has piqued the question for you, right? Why not get the questions answered for free so that we understand what we're going to do? We'll take a quick break. Be right back on Wise Money.
There are so many variables when it comes to when you should take Social Security. Here's the thing you need to understand. It's all about you. It's not what your buddies or your friends did at work. It's not what Aunt Susie and Uncle Bill did. Their situation's different. Do you have enough money to last you to and through retirement? Have you planned for inflation and the impacts of it? How can Social Security help maybe bridge a gap that you really haven't thought about? If you take Social Security early, you know it's cut down, it's great, it's money in hand, but will that give you enough money when you look at longevity if you live to the ages of 90 and 95? What happens if you defer that maybe to the age of full retirement age? How will that impact your income, or does it impact it at all? What if you defer all the way to the age of 70 to turn that on? What benefits do you get, and how does it affect your personalized plan? See, Social Security is an amazing benefit that many current retirees are getting, and you need a clear understanding of how it fits with you and your other retirement assets so you can have enough money to stay retired. You don't want to miss this by making a poor decision. Set up a time to come into the office and connect with one of our amazing fiduciary team members that can help put a plan together utilizing your Social Security and how it works with your current retirement savings.
What am I supposed to do? When am I supposed to do it? Those are the simple questions so that I can answer the question, will I have enough money to do it for the rest of my life? Enough money to have to my last breath. That's what we're trying to do. We're putting together a complete plan, the things that I won't even get to because we just run out of time. We're talking about investment strategies. We talk about retired preparedness. We talk about estate planning. We talk about ongoing support, meaning we're there till the end. But a lot of what we don't get to, we need to get to now, and that's taxes, because that's the heaviest thing that's dealing with the risk right now.
And I think right now, folks, we see folks come in all the time between our educational events, our radio show, this television show, and folks have come in and you've saved a lot. The challenge is one of the biggest financial termites that you got to understand is your tax obligation on that money. They're going to put up a little QR code in a website here. It's wisetaxbill.com. If you've got money sitting in an investment account that you maybe had through work, a 401k, 403b, 457, retirement savings. You cannot go another day with having an understanding of, wow, is this really potentially my tax bill over the next 25, 30 years of retirement? This in itself, I promise you, whether we're the right financial advising team or not, we're not right for everybody, and everybody's not right for us. But if you haven't been having these conversations with your advisor, once you understand that, I promise you, you will be forced to take action, because there's no way you can do retirement planning and not understand these numbers, because it's not what you have, it's what you get to keep, and you can only spend after-tax dollars. This is an absolute missing part on so many financial plans.
When we talk about a complete plan, there are now strategies. When you say, oh, I got to pay my taxes, this is just the way it is. There are strategies now that if you haven't been told about them, that you have to work into a complete plan, because time is of the essence. We say it all the time that we're right now in the third best marginal tax bracket that we've seen in history, and it's sunsetting at the end of 2025. Do it while you know what the rules are right now.
Well, legislative risk, it is the #1 concern, because every 2 years we vote people up on the Hill. I know where presidential elections are big, but when you look at where we are right now, and $35 trillion of debt and growing, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all underfunded, there is a ticking tax time bomb sitting on retirement accounts. Why? Because there's so much money. There are almost $38 trillion in assets that have been gathered by you, the modern retiree, that have yet to have taxes attached to them. Congress knows it's there. And so we're in a very little window right now where we can start doing some strategies to help put together a plan that is complete, that'll take you to and through retirement. You get one shot at retirement. Thank you for watching our show. I hope we've sparked some interest in what you're hearing today. But today's the day for you to take action, because if you pick up that number, 844-657-1072, you can start getting information that'll put a plan together for you and your family that'll last you to and through retirement, so you can be and stay retirement ready.
From tax time bombs to Social Security insecurities, strategic investments that help clean up your junk drawer and keep your income engine running smoothly at Omega Wealth Private Capital. We're fiduciary, independent, holistic wealth advisors, and we're here to turn your have-tos into get-tos. So, would you like your retirement dreams to move from good to great? Give us a call. It's what we do, because we really want to. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope to see you in the office. Until then, I'm Brad Johansson. We'll see you next time on Wise Money.